Hello, class. I hope you guys are having a good virtual week. I can tell you, with very few students in the building, it's kind of been lonely this week. So I'm looking forward to you guys getting back at it for our last 3 weeks of the trimester. Only 3 weeks left to go now. It's kind of crazy, but we'll end it strong. Today, we are going to go over the business plan, right? So, the business plan is kind of important if you're wanting to start a business, right? It kind of shows investors, yourselves, um, what your plans are, right? So, a business plan is just a written description of a new business venture that describes all aspects of the business. There's really no set format for a business plan, right? So, they can look different ways, but there are certain things that you need in them that's going to help you get that financing and help you along your way as you go to start your business. Some initial steps in setting up a business is you have to determine if there's a demand for your product, right? So you're conducting that market research. So when we talked about the marketing mix or the four P's, we kind of said the product was that number one section, right? You have to have that product before anything else matters. So when you're setting up a business, again, you have to determine that demand for the product to make sure it's worth going forward. Once you decide that it is, you need to write a business plan. So this kind of helps you focus on what to do, how to do it, and what to expect. So again, I kind of look at a business plan as not only a tool to help you get financing and help you get started, but it's kind of a blueprint for your business altogether. That way, if you're like in this months into this and you're kind of getting lost, you can look at your business plan as kind of a blueprint on what you did, how did you set up in the beginning, and kind of get back on track. Here at Westfield High School, we have a few different opportunities for you to work on business plans, right? So there's DECA. For those of you that don't know what DECA is, I kind of look at it like the competitive business club, right? You get to compete against people in our region, in the state, and even internationally. And category in DECA is setting up a business plan. We have quite a few entrepreneurship classes here that I teach. And we work on business plans in all those classes. So in the intro to business, we kind of look, or intro to entrepreneurship, we kind of look at the different categories of the business plan and then start figuring out how we would set that up. In the advanced level classes, you actually kind of pick a business and start forming a business plan around that. And then even in my capstone entrepreneurship class, I mean, your main goal is to get a business started, right? So you're doing the business plan, you're meeting with financial advisors, you're trying to get that business lifted. That way, when you're done with high school, you possibly have a business to start, or if you're going to college, it's something that you can continue to work on and grow as you're going through college. We have a Shark Tank Club that just started this year. We focus on two main competitions in that. So there's a competition called Innovate Within, um, which is where you compete against other kids or other students in the state. Um, the winning team gets $25,000. So you try to start your business, you pitch it to a ton of executives and leaders around the state. The winning team gets $25,000, not just $25,000 for the team, but per person. So if you're working with two other people, you each get 25,000. On top of that, if you don't win, there's still a lot of scholarships that are tied in with Innovate Within. So even if you make it through the first round, I mean, you have a really good chance of getting a few $1,000s in scholarships just by competing. So it's a really cool opportunity. The other one that we focus on in the Shark Tank Club is Westfield Shark Tank, which is where you pitch your business to the Westfield Chamber of Commerce, and the winning team gets $1,000. That's not as much money as Innovate Within, but Westfield Shark Tank is really cool because you get to meet a lot of leaders here in Westfield. So you're going to meet a lot of business owners, a lot of the politicians around here get involved. So it's a good chance for you to network and meet them and kind of get your foot in the door for some of those businesses, whether you're doing that out of high school or after college. And then we have an ACP Intro to Business class where you get IU credit for it. And that's taught by our accounting teacher here at Westfield, Mrs. Sondergroth. She's awesome. The class is awesome. It's hard, but it's totally worth it if you ever want to really get into entrepreneurship and own a business one day. So when we're looking at a checklist or starting a new venture, here's some questions you have to ask. So as we talked about before, what will I produce, right? What's your product? What's your service? Who are my main competitors? Right? We know this is important because if this field you're getting into that's too saturated, there's too much competition, are you going to be able to set yourself apart from them? Why is your product or service needed? So that's kind of important too, right? Like, why would people get this in the first place? How much will my product or service cost to produce? Which is important, right? Because our goal, even though we don't always like to admit it, our goal as business owners is to make money, right? So we need to make sure that whatever it costs to produce, we're still going to be able to make money with all the other costs as well. Speaking of costs, how many people will I need to run my business? Right. So employees are a huge cost factor for all business owners. So how many will you need? Again, if you're going to need too many employees, is it going to be cost effective to start this product, or should you look for something else? What physical facilities will I need? Right? Are you making some big equipment where you're going to need a huge plant? Or is it something you can work at home from your computer? Right. A lot of people are doing that now. So, I mean, what kind of facilities will you need? What license, permits, or other legal documents do I need? Which is important, right? So you can look, kind of go to that SBA.gov, the Small Business Administration, and look up that stuff. But what do you need to get a corporation started? What kind of permits do you need? What kind of license do you need, depending on what kind of business you have? So that's all stuff you have to check before you start getting into your business. And then how much money will I need to get started, right? Is it realistic? Are you going to be able to get that kind of money? So again, those are all things you need to look at when you're starting a venture. So there's several different components to a business plan. And here's some that your book talk about. So the first one, and I think regardless of the business plan you start, this needs to be the first section. All right. So your executive summary. This is just a brief account of the key points that are contained in your business plan. It's typically a page or two, and by far the most important part of your business plan. So why is the executive summary so important? So business plans are a lot, I mean, 50 to 100 pages, right? I mean, they're big, big documents. So when you are handing this to someone you're trying to pitch your business to, are they going to read all those pages? Probably not, right? I mean, that's a lot of reading. I don't like to read that much. You guys don't like to read that much. They probably won't either. So your first two pages, they're going to look at, and if they find it interesting, if it catches their attention, if they're like, ooh, this is a good idea, then they're going to start reading everything else, right? They're going to really dig into your business and want to learn more about it. If they don't like what they see in the first two pages, even if it's a great idea, they're not going to read it, right? They're going to read those two pages, they're done. So, what you have is very important in your executive summary to keep the people going on and get them invested in your company. Another section you'll need in your business plan is your management team plan. So you kind of need the qualifications of you and your partners, right? So we've talked about this in class that your idea is not only important. You're not only selling your idea, you're not only selling your product or service, you're selling yourself, right? They want to invest in you. So your qualifications of you and your partners are extremely important. But equally important is how you're going to fill the gaps of your expertise, right? So if you are a finance person, you're super smart at accounting, you're good with numbers, but you're doing something with engineering, who are you going to have making this product? How did you come up with this product? The flip side is you could be the smartest computer science person in the world. You could be an app developer. You could make computer programs. You'd be awesome. But if you don't have that business background, they're probably not going to invest in your company because they need to see that, hey, you have someone that is dealing with financials. You have someone that can do your marketing. So all this is important within your business plan to show where you're going to fill those gaps with what you don't know. A company description. So you're just kind of outlining your business, your size, your scope, what type of business you are. Number four would be your product and service plan. So this is a description of your product and service and possible spinoffs too, right? So when we're looking at the long-term plan, I mean, you could have a great idea for this gadget, right? But once people buy this gadget, what's going to happen next? So what spinoffs are you going to have? What else can you do to continue to advance your business down the road? The vision and mission statement are important, right? So the vision statement just establishes the scope and purpose of a company and reflects its values and beliefs. And the mission statement is specific aspirations of a company, so your major goals, right? So the vision statement is kind of who you are, why you're starting this company. The mission statement is what you want to be, what you want to become. Number six is important, the industry overview, right? So you're researching the industry, what kind of competition do you have? What are similar companies out there? It's important to understand this. It's important for people investing in your company to understand that you know this so they can see what the competition is and what kind of, share you can get in this market. To go with that is marketing analysis. So this is just research about your customer profile. So it's determining overall marketing and sales strategy. So who are you selling to? Who's your target market? How are you going to reach them? Competitive analysis is your advantage over your competitors, right? So how is your company different than theirs, right? So a way to do this is by studying competitors' websites. Companies do this all the time too, right? So I work for this is my first year teaching. Before this, I worked for a company who had quite a bit of competitors. We would always go to their website, we go to their social media pages and kind of look at what they're doing, and then see what works and what doesn't, and adjust our ways like that. And to understand maybe there's a whole new target market we didn't think of that they're reaching that we can kind of get into too. Another way is talking to their customers. So we would do this all the time. And people who would call in and order, we would talk to, we'd find out who they ordered from in the past, find out what they liked and didn't, and kind of get advantage over that way. In your business plan, you need to have a marketing plan, which describes how a company makes its customers aware of its products or service. So we talked about this in class as well. In the marketing section, we put all this research and development in the product. We're getting prototypes, we're testing it. Now it's time to roll it out. You have to have that marketing plan in place in order to make customers aware so they know that they can buy your product. Operational plan is important too. So this is just the processes that result in production and delivery of the product or service. Right. So how are you going to make it? How are you going to get it out? Right, that's important. You have people buying the stuff. You need to make sure that you have enough of it ready and a way to get it out to them. And an organizational plan, right? So this is who is going to do what, the management philosophy. So this is kind of where you look at the employees you need, right? That you put earlier in this and what you're going to do with them. So it kind of justifies the employees that you have, why you have the managers you're having, why you're having the production people, the sales people, the marketing people, why you have all of them and why you need them, right? So the organizational plan is really important. It also gives you kind of a look into the future, right? So you're probably not going to start off your business with that many employees, but it gives you an outlook of what you need where once your business gets off the ground and you can afford to hire more people. The financial plan, right? So this is obviously an important part. So forecast how will the money be spent. So if you're asking for $75,000 to start your business, are people or banks or investors going to just give you $75,000 and say, okay, there you go for it? No, they're going to want to know pretty much where every penny of that $75,000 is going. Right, it's their money. It's a lot of money. If you fail and go bankrupt, do they get anything back? Nope. So they want to see your financial forecast. They want to see how that money will be spent. Um, they want to see the growth plan too, right? So this is really important. So it predicts how the business will expand. So I'm investing in you, I want to see how you plan on grow, how you're going to make me more money in the future. So is this going to be hiring new people? Is it going to be hiring new people? Is it going to be looking to expand like more stores? I mean, how are you going to grow? Is it going to be new products? And there's several different ways, but you want to put that in your business plan. Lastly is the contingency plan, right? So this looks at likely risks and how you handle it. So is everything great in the world? Is everything going to go exactly how you want it to? No. Imagine if you started a business like a year and a half ago, right? You're rolling along, you're doing great. COVID, right? So that's kind of an extreme example. But I mean, there's always going to be things that pop up that you need to be prepared for, more competition, less people going out and buying new ways of marketing and new ways of buying products, right? So you have to look at all these risks and kind of come up with the different scenarios and how you're going to handle it going further. And I think this is important for investors to know that you prepared for the worst, right? I mean, they want to know that if something happens, that you are prepared, that you have the capability of overcoming those challenges. Finally, you have the cover page, the title page, right? The table of contents is important. That way, if they're looking at your business plan, they don't have to like dig through. They know exactly where to go to look for what they're wanting. I mean, supporting documents. So this is something I preach a lot to my classes when they're doing business plans. Is those supporting documents are important because you can throw out a lot of numbers, a lot of figures, and you're going to have that in your business plan. But we want to see how you came up with it, right? We want to kind of have that proof that your numbers back up what reality is. So that is it. I hope you guys, like I said, I hope you guys are having a good week. We'll be back in school in a few days. We're excited to see you. If you need anything in the meantime, shoot me a message and I will help you out. We'll see you guys soon.